is anything up now? Oh, we are live. Shit.
Intro. Where's the intro?
The intro is missing. So I think we're good to go. Let's do it.
Oh, we're just good to go.
Yes, over to
Okay,
you. I missed the intro. I apologize.
See, that was without intro today, but it's all good.
Our
Hello, everyone.
producer's gonna kill us. Our producer's gonna kill us. But
No,
we'll take
nobody tell him. No one snitch. No one snitch.
It's our secret. It's our secret.
Everything went off perfectly. It's just us here. Don't worry about it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sportycast football channel. This is episode 143 of the 3FOUR3 podcast, and it's just us today. It's myself and Ziad. Thank you for that, Ramiz. That's actually the best way to go about it because it's still playing in my head as well.
I completely blanked on it. Our producer is MIA, so I think I pressed the wrong button there. But okay, we come on.
I am with Ziad today. How's it going, Ziad? You well? You doing okay?
Yeah, all good, man. All good, you know. Danny, welcome. Congratulations on your marriage, and I would appreciate if you could let your husband make an appearance soon. I miss him.
I feel as you can clearly see, there's issues here without him. So you know.
Yeah, he's the glue that keeps us together.
There's clear issues here without him, but yeah, congrats from me as well to you, Daddy, and of course to Jason. We are eagerly awaiting his return, but you know, time to take his time. We don't want to rush him away from what I'm sure is a great time in you guys' lives, but also a nudge here and there will not be amiss. So just letting you know that in case you are that way inclined. Anyways, in today's episode, hopefully we will have a bit of a shorter episode today. Like I said, it's just two of us. AF might be making a late run into the box. Don't hold me to that. We don't know what these plans are. He might come out of his own bathroom door. It's in the background. We don't know. So just hold that on just in case he happens to come around. But other than that, we're going to be looking at what happened this weekend in terms of the Premier League. Of course, we'll be going through most of the games, in fact, just to go through a rundown of what happened, the main storylines in the games, and things like that. We'll also be looking forward to the next couple of fixtures for the teams, and I feel like Ramiz has some sort of addiction. I feel like it's an addiction, Ramiz. I appreciate the addiction as well, but it might not be healthy. Just to look into.
Yeah, see, if I press this thing and I press the wrong button, I could make things worse. So you know, it's probably better to just do damage limitation. Instead of cutting everything off here and things going crazy. But we'll send it to you. We'll find a way.
I was about to hum it, but then I thought maybe that will be a bit worse for everybody's ears. And then, so we'll be going through the fixtures for the teams in a couple of. We're looking at the table as well. Like I said, there's not much to talk about in terms of previews because we are on an international break, the third international break by November, which is kind of ridiculous. It makes no sense. But we move on from that. And then towards the end, after that, we'll be playing some games, which chat can be involved in as well. So, I'm going to give Ziad some players to rank, or blind rank, actually. He's going to be blind ranking. Let's see if I can throw some spanners into the works there and make sure he regrets it. And then we're also going to play some... we're also going to play some play on red card, yellow cards, what's the ad as well, and then chat can play along with that as well. So, stick around and we'll be going through that throughout the episode. Hopefully it will be shorter, but you know when I'm involved, it tends to rather go longer than shorter, but we'll try and keep it nice and succinct and concise for you guys. I have, Low Parker and Big Parker, I suppose, if that's his rap name. I'm not sure. I didn't know how else to include a rap name in that one, but that was. Ramiz is on a burn today. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, we need to share. We need to share this with the people, man. The people need to see it.
He's on the burn today. I must say, it's not just hot outside; it's also hot in here. Maybe your name could be Nelly. It's getting hot in here, but let's. As long as you don't start calling me Kelly Rowland, we're all good. let's start with the first game of the weekend, if you don't mind, Ziad. And I guess the first game was a bit of a snooze fest, maybe. But it was, of course, Manchester United. Since Ramiz is here, let's talk about that game. I think like me and him will have a bit of banter regarding this. It's Manchester United against Spurs at, I was going to say White Hart Lane, but it wasn't. It was at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It ended up being 2-2. Just talk to me about how you thought the game went here. Did you think it was better than the snooze fest as a non-supporter of either team?
Look, the game took me by surprise. I mean, I didn't even know it had started. I missed the early kickoff, but when I did tune in, it was about 60 minutes in, which means that I probably missed the down part and I got the exciting parts towards the back end. Mbeumo is in great form. He's doing good things for United and he's getting them off to that fast start, man. So once they get ahead, they can then play the game from a better position. But I thought Spurs did really well to come back, and get 2 goals. And obviously, there's the whole Richarlison thing that everyone's going on about where he takes off his shirt and then you don't win. But I thought 2 good goals. Yeah, obviously, United came back at the end with that corner. So I think both teams would kind of be happy that they didn't lose. And both had opportunities to win. So it's kind of like it's like a damp, type of feeling. But yeah, I thought it did come alive towards the end. But unfortunately, I missed the early part, which you said was a bit of a snooze fest. And like Ramiz is saying, people didn't expect many goals. But I thought if you think about the game overall, it's pretty entertaining. 2 all, late equalizer. It had everything, right? And ultimately, with the draw, both teams ended up in the same spot they were before the game. So going into the break, no real momentum. And I think United would be happier with where they are currently, as opposed to Spurs.
I don't know. We haven't been playing really well either, to be honest with you. Ramiz, did you just let me ask Ramiz a question quickly? Ramiz, were you happy with the draw? Because I feel like Siad said, I think both teams, there were chances for both teams, but at the end of the day, I think both teams were happy with the draw, to be honest, and not to drop points rather than looking at it as 1 point gain, not 2 points lost, basically. And honestly, I think the quality for the first 60 minutes of the game was poor from both teams. Rather draw than a loss. I fully agree with you on the Spurs side as well. But I think both teams were very bad for 60 minutes of the game. I think United got the lead and decided to not play football for the next ever much time until Spurs equalized, and that showed. It was just if they were playing against a better team, it would have been a bit worse for them because the better team would have taken more advantage. But Spurs kept giving the ball back to them, which was terrible. It was really, really a shocking set of quality.
It's a bit surprising for me, the Spurs midfield. I thought they'd be better with possession. And it's an area I thought they could exploit in the game, looking at United's midfield of Casemiro and Bruno. But yeah, the Spurs midfield, I don't know if they're not clicking or they're just not getting the balance right. Because they have players, it's just, maybe they're not coming together well.
I think in this game specifically, I think the midfield was fine, just better than what it usually is because we played one pivot and not 2. I think the issue came where Frank decided to change something else, which was the front 3. He played Kolomawani through the middle and then Richarlison off the left. And that didn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. And then halftime Kolomawani came off because he's got a broken jaw or something like that. So that was unfortunate.
Wow.
And Kolomawani actually looks like our best striker that we have. I mean,
but that actually might work in your favor because I was reading yesterday or today that Ivan Toney might get the SOS. So if you lose Kolomawani, maybe you get Ivan Toney, and that might just be what you need. Someone that's more central and a bit more direct in terms of just looking to score no matter what. Whereas like Kolomawani and these guys, they like to dribble, they like to drift out wide and pull people, whereas Toney will pretty much stay on that last shoulder and stay more central, which might suit the wide players that you have because they like to give width, right? You got your backs like Pedro Porro and these type of guys, Udogie, who give width. You got Matistel as well. All these guys, Kudus, these guys like to use the width. So it's in the center where the issues are. Like you miss a Solanke, for example. So, it might actually be a blessing. Who knows?
Yeah, and Ramiz is saying that Sesko's in. Oh yeah, Sesko went off obviously. That's why I think he said he was going to lose. It was lost at 2-1, which was fair. It should have been lost at 2-1, but De Ligt is probably Manchester United's second, after Mbeumo, their second player of the season. I think De Ligt's been really good this season so far, both in defense and going forward. And he scored a really, really good goal. Bad defending, obviously, but a good goal nonetheless. And it's a shame that Maguire's also injured because he's been relatively good as well, especially in the attacking third. But it was just the game came on fire in the last 20 minutes or so. Unfortunately, both teams look like they a bit off the pace this season. But in saying that, I think that both teams also are better off than they were last season, if that makes any sense. So last season they were obviously 17th and 15th, but this season they don't look that much better, but they look better than 17th and 15th, which is, I guess, a step in the right direction. If we look at the table, of course, or if we look at the fixtures that are coming up for both teams, I think it's more difficult for Spurs if we look at Spurs fixture list first when we come back from international break, and it's obviously straight into the North London derby after the break. Against Arsenal at the Emirates, which is going to be difficult. And then they go to Fulham, which should be easier, I guess, but you never know. And then it's Newcastle away, Brentford, who've been doing really good as well. So while there is opportunities there, I think that it's going to be a bit difficult, especially we've been doing better with away games. So maybe it's better for us that we're playing away. But I don't think we've beaten Arsenal at the Emirates in a while. I don't think we've beaten them in maybe last 7 times or something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. But so it's going to be difficult for us on the way back. I think United have an easier return from the international break. They have Everton, Crystal Palace away, which might be difficult. They have West Ham at home, then Wolves away. That's 2 easy wins there for them. And then Bournemouth at home, which might be a bit more difficult. So they have an easier kind of settling back in after the international break. And we'll see if both teams are on 18 points, of course. If we look at the table, both teams are 18 points. And Spurs sit in 4th and United are in 7th. And I think, 4th, United in 7th. There's like 5 teams on 18 points, a team on 19 points, and like another team on 17 points. So it's crazy at the moment. I'm not sure what can really be said, except that the Premier League is getting even more competitive, which is quite good. But yeah, let's move on to the next game now. And this game can go a bit quickly because I think it's more of a simple game. I think it's the Everton Fulham game that was next, and Everton beating Fulham 2-0 at the new stadium, Darren Huckabee or Tom Johnson or whatever stadium it's called.
Hill Dickinson.
That one, yes.
I think it's one of the betting companies, to be honest. But Everton have been really good at home. They've been playing well at home. They've kind of taken to that new stadium. So it's quite good for them. And obviously, I've been on Grealish watching. He's been doing really well. He has, had a couple of off games here and there. But for the most part, he's been good. And like I always say, players like Grealish, once they get made the fulcrum of the attack and everything is channeled through them, they shine. So I think he's doing really well at Everton. Whereas I think Fulham, I'm a bit worried about them because I think they're really up and down. And the board didn't back Marco Silva with enough, action in the transfer market because, yes, they have good players and they did well. But when you just stay at that same level and other teams around you improve, then you do fall away. Not because you're getting worse, because you stay the same. And every squad needs that freshen up, that competition to challenge the players who are the automatic starters or whatever the case is. So when you don't get those extra players in just to push the squad a little, you see this type of results where they'll play really well, but the results will be up and down. And I think they're not gonna have the greatest season overall. So a good win for Everton. They're doing well.
I agree. I mean, and to go with that is that the players that Fulham actually have, they're very streaky, like they're on and off. So they'll have times where they are really good and they'll have times where they aren't as good. But I think you hit the nail on the head there, and it's like if you don't strengthen your side, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Especially when everybody around you is moving forward. So it's really difficult for them. I think they're in a tough spot at the moment, and yeah, I think Everton have enough to get to that mid-table. Not really be in the relegation fight. I think Fulham, if they don't get themselves sorted, they might be in a relegation fight. But
Yeah.
I think that it's gonna be touch and go. If they can get like Fulham are a team who can get like a string, maybe 3 or 4 weeks of really good results.
And that's all you need, right? You need to run through. But they got a tough couple of fixtures coming back from the break because they've got Sunderland, then that they got Spurs, and then they got Man City. So you're looking at after those 3 games, they could have slid down the table before they have a bit of a clearer run where they have Palace, Burnley, Forest, and West Ham. So I think before that, you could see Fulham sliding down the table, and then that's the pressure of, possible relegation battles and so on. Whereas Everton have a bit more of an easier ride when they do come back, and also they're good at home, man. So I know they're playing United and Newcastle, but I think they can get some results along the way.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be more worried if I was Fulham than Everton.
Agreed. Fully agreed with that. Talking about relegation scraps, there was a massive one this weekend, and it was West Ham against Burnley. Both teams we think are going to be in that relegation scrap at the end of the season. But West Ham with a massive win. I think it's 2 now at home in a row for Nuno after being shocking from the past couple of weeks. I mean, West Ham have really looked like they don't have a clue what's going on, and all of a sudden 2 games and it switched. But yeah, a 3-2 win against Burnley, and the Burnley striker Zion Fleming came out of nowhere. He's scoring goals and he's playing really well. I don't know where he's come from, but it's not enough to help them, unfortunately. They look like they are going to be struggling. In fact, both teams are going to be struggling, I think, towards the end of the season. How do you feel about
Burnley it? started fairly well, but I think that initial burst has kind of dropped a little bit, and I think they're running out of steam now, and they're getting fully entrenched into the relegation battle. And it's not going to get easier for them because when they come back from the break, they've got Chelsea, Brentford, and Palace as their first team. So it's going to be really tough for them. Initially when the season started, I think it was more because other teams were bad than they were really good. And they did pick up a couple of results. So, they could survive, but I don't see it. And with West Ham, obviously Nuno coming in, he strengthened them. He's made them much better. And he's a good Premier League manager, man. So he knows exactly what's required to stay up. So he can whip those guys into shape. And West Ham have some decent players now.
They do.
The only challenge for them coming back is that they've got a tough run after the international break.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Liverpool home, United away, Brighton away. So if they can come out of that with a couple of draws, I think that would be the best option for them. But at the bottom of the table, you just got to beat the teams around you to stay up. And I think they're more than capable of doing that. So I think West Ham will probably trend upwards, but not anytime soon. I think there'll be a bit of a lull before they get a couple of wins under their belt later on in the season. But like I said earlier, with Fulham, worried about them, I'd also be a bit more worried if I was Burnley. The goals are there, but the defense is not, and that's what they need. They can score, but can you at least keep a clean sheet or at least, get a point? And I don't see them being able to do it.
Yeah, I think both teams have an issue with that defensive part of it at the moment. They're both leaking too many goals. I want to ask you in terms of early prediction, if it was between the two of them, between Burnley and West Ham, you think that Burnley rather than West Ham will be going down?
Yeah, definitely. I think West Ham have more firepower up front, just the talent alone. And the Nuno factor, I think he's a really good manager, especially when he has that limited squad, right? So he's got a small group of players to work with instead of a big one. And there's no other competitions. I mean, they're just playing Premier League. So you can really work with those guys. And I think that they'll be okay.
Lovely stuff. We're moving on to a different team that came up from last season, and that's Sunderland. doing really, really well. The Sunderland game against Arsenal. Obviously, this is your team. Tell me what happened in the game. Was it a deserved win? Are you guys happy with the 2-2, or did you think that you deserved to win the game?
Man, I was literally saying this on last week's episode, right? Because everyone was glazing our defense and,
Yeah.
talking about the clean sheets. And I even said it last week where I was like, I'm not even worried about conceding. I'm just worried about trying to keep that shots on target stat down. But if we were ever going to concede, I said last week it's going to come against Sunderland. It's just one of those games where I thought it could happen. And yeah, I mean, obviously you want to win. Sunderland have been playing good football, so I'm not too upset. And the equalizer was fantastic. Brobby, what a goal! I was like half like, oh my word, what a great goal, and the other half was like, damn. And you nitpick a little bit, like you'd want Gabriel to be a bit stronger in those situations. But I'm not too disappointed coming away with a draw. Obviously, it's points dropped. But you're going to drop points along the way. Every team's going to drop points along the way. I don't think we played bad. We created, that great goal line block from Ballard at the end. Otherwise, it could have been different. And he was fantastic. Again, one of those players who kind of were let go by Arsenal or wasn't good enough and came back and showed what the club maybe saw in him to get him involved there in the first place. But yeah, Granit Xhaka also fantastic in the midfield. If I was to, the one negative thing for me, and this goes back a couple of seasons with Arteta, is when the squad is a bit thin, he doesn't use the bench. And I think he should use the bench because the guys up front were just tired. There was no out ball. So even though you clear the ball, Saka's tired and he's running nowhere. Declan Rice is having to run from the midfield, running into corners. Trossard was tired. So you need to use the bench, man. Like, I think he made the right move to bring Mosquera on because to strengthen the defense and ride it out.
Was that the only change that he did?
That's the only change he made. You need to bring on guys up front to at least be able to run away with the ball.
And release the pressure.
Alman can do it. You could have brought Norgard on for the experience in the midfield because Rice was knackered. These are things that I think make a difference. So I think could have been a different result if you brought on the fresh legs, because if you put Dauman up front and you just clear the ball to him, he can run and he can dribble, right? I mean, he's still inexperienced, but you have to try. Otherwise, these type of things, you are prone to it. And yeah, unfortunately, we dropped the points. But I know we're going to talk about some of the other games. So in the grand scheme of things, we still come out of this part of the season in a decent position.
Yeah, fair. But talking about this time of the season, when you come back, it's a bit more difficult as well. It doesn't get any easier for us either. Like I said, it's the North London derby as soon as you get back, and then it's off to another London derby. You go to Chelsea away after that. And
don't forget, sandwich between the two is a little trip or a little fixture in the Champions League against Bayern Munich.
There you go.
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, well, I'm sure he will be fine against you guys. He loves Arsenal. But it's gonna be interesting on the way back. But I think that you guys are to give yourselves a buffer like this is important. Even though everybody's saying Arsenal win the league, Arsenal this, Arsenal that, at the end of the day, getting the points is what matters. And like me and Rami said earlier, the draw is better than the loss, I think, especially when it comes to just before an international break. I think making sure you don't lose and take that momentum into the break is very important. So when you come back, it can be, I guess, more plain sailing or easier to come back and not have to ride off a bad momentum. But that was good nonetheless. The next game that I want to talk about is the Chelsea game, Chelsea versus Wolves. I think Wolves, unfortunately, is it too early to say that they are the most favorite? Like they are in the pole position to go down this season?
Look, they obviously fired their manager, so they're going to get a replacement now. If the reports are accurate, that looks like the manager from Middlesbrough is going to come.
Yeah, I think he's there. What's his name? I can't remember his name either.
But yeah, so a new manager might make
McKenna. Is it McKenna?
No, I don't think it's McKenna.
Okay.
I don't know his name, but I know I just read Middlesbrough. He was at Middlesbrough. So if he comes in, you get that new manager bounce, and I don't think the Wolves squad is too bad. But has the damage been done already? That's the question.
Yeah.
The negative morale of
Rob
no
Edwards.
win in 11 games. Rob Edwards.
Yeah.
Very generic name, but
Yeah.
it's the morale, man. Not getting a win, 2 draws in 11 games, 9 losses.
It's bad.
Can you reverse that as a new manager? And that's all. Like and again, all you need is a streak. You
Yeah.
string together 8 good games, and suddenly you're out of the relegation zone. So I don't think it's too late for Wolves. I think they can still, but how they come out, his first 3 games is going to be critical. And if you look at the fixtures, they got Palace, Villa, and Forest. So it's not going to be easy for them.
They have to win the Forest game at the end of the day. The Forest, like you said, it's about beating the teams around you. So I think
and they just need a morale booster. They need a win just to kind of trend upwards, get some energy in. I'm sure he'll shake the lineup up a little. But it's very hard for Wolves because you lose your best players.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I mean, look at Brentford. I mean, they lost their best players and they're still playing quite decently. But I think it goes back to what you said in the beginning. It's about if you lose your best players, it's about bringing people in as well. And I don't think Wolves did that well enough, which is the reason why they.
I think they've dropped off a little bit in how they're being run. Whereas Brentford are consistent still. Another example of that would be Brighton, who lose players but replace them like fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
So Wolves want to watch. Let's see.
And then Chelsea. Let's just are we on the Alejandro Garnacho train, or what's the situation?
Look, I just enjoy Garnacho doing well because it makes the United fans upset. Because they're quick to get upset when he did nothing, and now he's on a good run of form. So that's the only reason. The only reason that I enjoy it. But to be honest, I always like Garnacho. I'm not talking about the off the field stuff.
Yeah, on the field, what he does on the field.
From a talent perspective, I thought United was set with him. But then obviously the off-field stuff between him, Sancho, and a couple of other guys didn't work out. But he's talented, and I think he's taking his chances with Chelsea. Chelsea are trending up, but I mean, Chelsea, for me, there's a lot of talk about they have injuries and so on, no Cole Palmer. But when you buy 7 million players, I don't care how many injuries you have. All clubs have injuries, and you have a squad for a reason. They are doing well. I think Estevao has been brilliant. I really like him. He's exciting. So if you take Estevao and you take Garnacho, you take Caicedo, who's in some great form this season so far. Their defense, their fullbacks or wingbacks are doing much better than the centre backs. But Gusto had a fantastic game against Wolves. You obviously have Reece James, who's managing to stay fit, so he's contributing. So I think they're in a pretty good position. I wouldn't say they contenders really, but I think they are in a good position. And if they do get those players back who are injured, like Cole Palmer, I think they could have a say in who actually wins the title. They could upset a few of the teams above them. But it's 50-50 for me with Chelsea.
It was also a first time, I think it was the first time, I could be corrected, in the season that they played João Pedro as a cam and Liam Delap played up front. So that was an interesting turn of events as well, where they played two forwards and João Pedro kind of played a bit deeper.
But I mean, you can't read too much into it against Wolves, right? They could have played anyone anyway. I want to see it, obviously, now when we get back, we play them. So that would be interesting. Burnley away is not going to show us really anything. So
easy
Chelsea
for Chelsea.
Have Burnley and Leeds and Arsenal sandwich in between. So I think they'll keep rolling.
That should be easy enough for them, for sure. The next game would be the Aston Villa game. Aston Villa, by the way, have come out of nowhere after not being able to score a goal in the first 3 weeks.
Man, what a result for FPL. It killed everything. Like, Semenyo goes and misses a penalty. Senesi is almost in everyone's team, and he concedes 4. And it's like, where was this Villa early on in the season? And like, what happened? How are they clicking now? So annoying, bro. So annoying.
It's quite crazy, and the fact that they keep the fact that they keep a clean sheet is crazy. But I guess at Villa Park they're no strangers to kind of clean sheets. They've been doing it a lot of the time. I mean, there was that stage where they went how many games unbeaten for so long. They beat Arsenal and City in the 1 week. So they have it in them. It's just that they just need to show it, which now they do. They're scoring goals. Still no goals for Watkins though.
Look, they 6 on the table, right? They've in the last 5 games they've won 4.
After not scoring in 3 games, which is crazy.
Yeah, it looked really bleak for them at the beginning, but it just shows you go on a run. Plus they got Leeds, Wolves, and Brighton when they come back. So I think they're gonna continue climbing and pretty much solidify a spot in the top 6 before they get to Arsenal 4 game weeks later.
It's crazy, and Bournemouth have I wouldn't say easier, but Bournemouth have West Ham at home, and then they go to Sunderland, and then it's Everton at home as well. So Bournemouth can bounce back quite decently if they return to form. They're also a good team, I think. Bournemouth, I think, after really losing the whole backline, to be where they are is very impressive. So I don't think they'll have a problem. I don't think either team will have a problem this season. Aston Villa and Bournemouth.
But these are the things like you were mentioning with the table. Everyone's bunched up, right? A couple of teams all on similar points, and it's just that run-off format. How consistent are you? Can you string together a couple of results? And that's what changes things, right? Like we said with Villa, it was looking desperate, and then suddenly they reel off 4 wins and they move to 6th position. And it's the same for Bournemouth. They started strong, but the season is going to have a couple of dips and so on. And as we speak about people coming from the bottom of the log to the top, enter stage right on my screen, but probably stage left on yours. Welcome, AF.
Above me.
Hello, everybody. Sorry it took me so long to get here, but I made it anyway.
No, it's all right, man. You like the United Spurs game. I only started watching at the end, so pretty much the same. I know Riaz is hosting, but just to let you know, before you catch us when you check the episode out, I messed up the intro, so I owe him use a sound bite there at the beginning or to playing the intro. But we went straight into the episode, so welcome.
It was supposed to be a secret, Ziad. It was no one was supposed to say anything.
I was going to see it anyway when I watched the episode back.
Monitor fang me, man. I felt like I'm going to get exposed here quickly, so I'd rather I pimp myself, basically.
I like that. Honesty is the best policy. I like that.
Yeah, now
you say that, but then you're the one that said it should have been a secret. I don't understand.
It was. Now I'm getting exposed for this. This is terrible work. I'm innocent in this matter. Ziad, what is wrong with you? You messed up the episode in the beginning. Yeah, come on now. AF, welcome to the episode. Thank you for being here. We are busy with the review of the past week that just went by. I guess since you are here, we only have 3 games left to talk about, so we'll get to that. But
give him the big one.
Now, I want to first ask you about United, just because I know we spoke about United already in the first time, but since we have you here, AF, thoughts on the game? Was it deserved? Were you okay with the draw at the end of it? How did you feel?
I'm not okay with the draw at the end of it. I feel like United should have won that game.
Based on what?
Based on everything. I feel like it was 2 points dropped, but at the end of it all, I'm just glad we didn't throw it away like we would have last season.
But I don't understand. So you're saying that United were the better team on the day?
Yeah.
I fully disagree with you. Yeah, I think both teams were equally shocking. Both teams didn't play well. I mean, so what I said earlier was that once United went ahead, they stopped playing football for 45 minutes until the 60th minute. And the only reason they got the ball was because Spurs couldn't hold the ball. They just kept passing it to you guys, and then you pass it back to us. It was like a friendly.
The quality of the match was pathetic. The quality of the match was poor.
Good,
It was a really bad spectacle.
They were the better of the 2 weak,
or
the 2 bad performances.
If you can least bad like of the 2. It was like if you are looking for an advert for the Premier League, like that would probably be the rock bottom for trying to get people to watch the Premier League. But the last like 25 minutes wasn't too bad. I feel like
it was good.
It's like people started actually coming to the party. I think they actually just left the dressing room on the 75-minute mark. So I mean the ending was okay, and like he had said, he only started watching towards the end of the game, so he got the best bits. He didn't have to fall asleep like I did once during the first half.
I love that.
Look at this, right? Did Tottenham score with 10 men?
He's right.
United had the goalkeeper in the box from a corner.
Ooh,
so
that's
like
they
had the same amount of players. So it doesn't make a difference. It's not like they scored in open play. It was off a corner. And I am the expert because my team only scores from set pieces. So the numerical advantage or disadvantage wasn't present. So whatever.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Thank you.
Did you guys see that clip of Gabriel and Mateus Cunha on Brazil duty this morning? And he's like, because they're training over at Arsenal's digs, and he's just like pointing to like different spots, like in the Arsenal training ground. And at one point, you can see him pointing to a corner flag, and it was so funny. It's like that is where the corner is taken, and like probably pointing to the middle of the box. That is where I headed the ball in.
That is crazy. That's very funny. Actually, I'd love to see that. Okay.
Stop. Pause. Jason has entered the chat.
Wow.
Welcome, Jason. It's good to have you. Saka got the goal in open players, his first one in a year. But that's not the point, my man. That's not the point. we still do all of the set pieces. Cunha never knew comfort like the Arsenal ground. Yeah. It is what it is, man. Emirates is a nice place, I believe. But speaking of what you guys are talking about now, right, with the corner flags and stuff, the trend in the league is kind of gone this way this season, which has been one of the talking points, where I think there's been that shift towards data, and it's looking at ways to optimize your opportunities. And I know we didn't talk about this game yet, so it's a good time to bring it up. But the Brentford game, Brentford Newcastle, epic. The way Brentford used that long throw, it's crazy. It reminds me of Stoke with the lap. They're just so good off that. And I think teams have realized that this is a way to exploit something, right? Because it's kind of like a set play, as opposed to teams being, the open play thing, and teams basically cancelling each other out with the way football's evolved. So to go towards this, making use of corners, making use of free kicks, long throw-ins, and then also obviously the transitions, the quick play, that seems to be the trend with the league at the moment. And you saw it with Brentford, big, strong players, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah.
Who's that dude from Brentford? Coyote, right? The one that does
he's epic.
What a guy!
What a player!
He's like a proper Rory Delap regen, just like throwing like 3/4 of the pitch throw-ins.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, actually. Jason saying the London teams are leading in the set piece goals: Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, and we'll add Brentford to that as well, because, like we're saying now, they're really good at that long throw-ins. And I think it's different because corners have always been a thing, right? When you go into the season, you're always training how to defend set pieces, as in corners. But when it comes to throw-ins, it's a bit different.
No, but that's the difference, right? Like you're saying, you train to defend set pieces.
Yeah.
But teams weren't spending as much time training how to attack it and how to create the mismatches and the advantages. And everyone talks about Arsenal, but let's not forget that it was Jurgen Klopp who brought in a throw-in specialist. They had a throw-in coach, if I'm not mistaken, where everything about what they did at set pieces was to get the ball back in play as quickly as possible. So it was a bit different, maybe, what they did. But they were one of the first teams to actually specialize in it, right? Everything was get the ball to the guy who throws it in as quickly as possible. And we go back to Trent's magic in the Champions League, where he played that ball to Origi, right? Everything was before the defense settled. Now teams have caught on and they are set to defend it. So now it's like, okay, if it's a chess match, if the team is set to defend, how can we attack? And then obviously, Riaz, you and I, we're watching the NFL now, following it quite a bit, and it's about creating gaps, right?
Yeah.
And that's what teams are doing really well. They're using decoy runners, they're using guys to block, to expose space, and then they're getting the right guys on the end of the ball.
Yeah, 100%. And I just want to give a shout out to Jason's guy here that he spoke about. It's Jordan Henderson. We've seen now teams like, let's say, Sunderland, and I'm going to use Brentford as two other prime examples, right? Granit Xhaka and Jordan Henderson. The way that bringing in someone like that changes the team, the mindset, just the whole vibe of the dressing room. And that obviously must make a massive difference to the output as well. Because honestly, before the season, nobody thought Brentford was going to be doing this well, and they're doing fairly well. I mean, Sunderland as well. No one thought they were going to be top 4 at the moment, at the end of November or beginning of November, but look where they are. So those guys, people like that, the mentality of those guys cannot be understated, to be honest with you. And I think it's a massive testament to them. But just a quick on Newcastle AF problems, or what's happening there?
I don't know what, like, I can't read this team. Like,
Agreed.
The potential is there. Like, you can't also blame the fact that they lost Alexander Isak because Voltemade came in and hit the ground running. And I think he's been a really good buy, but I don't know, something isn't clicking for the most part in that team. I don't know if Eddie Howe. Last year we had like the same sort of discussion, and they started off very slow, and then the second half of the season they sort of got their mojo back a bit. Maybe it could be a bit of the same again this season. They did start the season without Anthony Gordon. Also, I think he was injured for a long time, and
he's injured again. I think.
Yeah. So, is he injured again?
Yeah, he was injured this weekend.
So yeah, like I think they just need some time to get their things in order, and I think they'll bounce back. But it is a bit worrying that this is like a trend now going on 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, it's just very weird. I mean,
I'm with you on Newcastle. I think they'll be okay. They play City when they come back, but then they got a couple of easier games where they can get some form. So they've got Everton, they've got Spurs, Burnley, Sunderland. So I think they could probably string some results together. But it is a challenge for them, obviously playing in the Champions League.
Yeah, but they've been doing well, though.
Yeah, they're doing okay. Right? I mean, all the English clubs, right? It's like the Champions League is easy. The English clubs make up 5 of the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So they're probably struggling with that a little bit. But Voltemade has been good. For the most part, their midfield's been okay. It's probably just at the back where they haven't been as good. And there's going to be regression, man. You can't keep relying on Dan Burn, in all honesty. Pope was fantastic
over the weekend.
even though he got injured.
Yeah,
but Burn, he was shocking in this game.
This game, but in the Champions League, he played really well. So it's I don't know what's up with that team.
Yeah, 50-50.
What do you guys make of? Okay. What do you guys make of the whole Anthony Elanga thing? They paid 55 million for him. He can't crack the starting 11 now. He starts on the bench almost every game. I know there's Harvey Barnes there, there's Anthony Gordon, but like Ria said, Anthony Gordon's now injured again. But Elanga can't seem to like crack that starting 11. And it's a complete 180 from what he was last season at Forest, where he was sort of the MVP of that team, or the talisman of that team, rather.
But that's what they brought him to Newcastle for, right? So it's like to strengthen their squad and give them options. He was never going to start every game. It was going to be a rotation between him, Barnes, and Gordon. Jacob Murphy as well.
Jacob Murphy does really well.
If I'm not mistaken. So that's more rotation thing, and that's what happens when you have depth, right? It's obviously tough for him because he got used to playing week in, week out, and now he has to just be ready all the time, start the game, come off the bench a game, and that transition is difficult. The other thing we have to consider is, was he the manager signing or was he the club signing? Right? Was it the director of football type decision to bring him in, or did Eddie Howe want him? Because those things also tend to play a role in whether or not a player gets selected. So it's tough for him, obviously, because he kind of took a step down to take a step up in his career. But I think he'll be fine. When you look at the end of the season, he'll probably have made enough contributions for it to have been worthwhile.
Yeah, I think it's difficult when it's two different styles of play. Last season they played fully on the counter attack. They had the least amount of ball in the Premier League. Whereas Newcastle, they want the ball, right? They play with the ball more often.
And also Newcastle don't mind letting their midfield spend time on the ball.
Yeah,
because they got Tonali, they got Bruno G, they've got Joe Linton. So they don't mind having Tonali on the ball, and he often has the ball for a good amount of time. They got Trippier outright, who also spends time on the ball. So it's not like with Forest where the back four's job was to win the ball and to give it to Gibbs White or to give it to Elanga, give it to there's another guy on the left I'm missing now. Hudson-Odoi. And just get the ball forward, whereas this team tends to more players get touches on the ball because they got players, they got ballers. Finn Botman, he can handle the ball. So yeah, different styles, like you say.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jason's saying it's all about 3 and 2, 3 games together. Agreed. That's exactly what we said earlier about the other teams. And he's saying that they'll make a late push and still make Champions League. I'm not sure about that. I think the top 4
that might be his wife typing. I don't know if that's really him. But
Aston Villa's turned this season around. Like, yes, we 11 games in only, but considering where they were like a few weeks ago, down in the relegation spots, they look to be in a more healthy position now, and I think that they are the team that's probably going to fight for that Champions League spot instead of Newcastle come the end of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Like we're saying, just takes that small run. 2, 3, 4, 5 games where you lose 1 game and you win 3 and you draw 1, and all of a sudden you go from 16th to 5th on the table. So that's how congested the table is at the moment. So you never know what might happen. Okay, I want to go to the last game, and it was obviously the massive game between Liverpool and Manchester City. And AF, I'll come to you first. Surprised?
No.
Not
absolutely
surprised.
not. I predicted a City win, so yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
I love to hear it.
I knew the win was coming. I just didn't know it was going to be that dominant. I think I predicted a 1-0. So yeah,
I was halfway there. I predicted a 3-3. I was halfway there. I was very close. Ziad, what about you?
I have to tap out. I think the vibes I got from Brandon made me think that Liverpool was going to get a result there. So I was a bit surprised at the way they lost. But City were just on them and quickly, went ahead. And even with Haaland missing a penalty, they still were comfortable winners. So
it's undeniable.
Surprising. And look, Liverpool, they're having their issues, right? But if you look at their fixtures coming back, it's going to be so easy for them. The only way they don't come out of that fixtures, with a lot of points is if they undo it themselves. But Forest isn't going to beat them. West Ham isn't going to beat them. Sunderland's not going to beat them. Then they got Leeds and Brighton.
Too bad under Sean Dyche.
That's what I mean, right? Like Forest. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like Forest isn't going to beat them. They're going to lose it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're going to do something uncharacteristic, or they're going to make errors that's going to give Forest the win if Forest were to come out of that game with points. But ideally, Liverpool should come out of that stretch with 10 to 12 points easily, right? And that's why I think if they come back all fit from the international break, I think they'll manage to squeeze out results in that stretch. But it is alarming for them to lose that way. So yeah, I think City were really good. City's looking good again. Obviously, Haaland, what he's doing is just, I think I say it every week, but I
think Pep outdid Slot, to be honest with you. I think it was a managerial diff on the weekend
in that game.
Because,
Slot got like a gut punch and he didn't respond. And he's normally quite good. In-game management is really good from Slot. So Pep did get one over him. And if you look at City coming back, oh my word, they got Newcastle away, and we just spoke about how bad Newcastle is. Then they've got Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland, Palace, West Ham, Forest, Sunderland. They could be top of the log after that run. Easily.
But did you guys notice?
look
I think
how
this was
easy
like
that-
in the 25th minute or 27th minute or something of the game. So this was the first time that Jeremy Doku took on Conor Bradley properly, like we just like all thrusters and everything. And the moment he did that, he got past him, and you could see Pep telling every other player, like just pointing at Doku. So I think that was like when Pep saw, okay, let's just feed Doku as much as possible. And the rest of the game, that's what they did. And he had Conor Bradley on toast for as long as he was on
because
the pitch.
Bradley's pockets were full because he had the Madrid players still in them.
Yeah.
He forgot to take them out, man. You know, he didn't do his laundry after the Madrid game. So because his pockets were full, there was no space for Doku in there.
What just before we get onto this question from Ramirez, it's a very good question. I just want to on that. I think what was important and why I said that kind of Pep, it was a manager diff on the weekend, was because it was almost like the three forwards for City played closer together, and it was like 3-1-2 against the two centre backs. Yes, Doku did obviously go wide a lot of the time, but also a lot of the time he was between Bradley and Konate. So he didn't. He wasn't like playing wide, but he played close to Ireland and Turkey. Obviously, also they played like a 3 together in the middle, which was very interesting. And I think that caused the 3-1-2 against the two centre backs, and that's where all the space came from. With obviously Nico O'Reilly and Mateus Nunes providing the width on the wide. So I think that was very interesting the way City played there. So you guys, I'm going to come to you. Oh yeah.
Shout out Nico O'Reilly for pocketing Salah as well.
Yeah,
like,
he did very well.
I think like 99% of that game, Salah had absolutely no chance. And Nico O'Reilly is just proving himself to be one of those mainstays in the Pep starting 11 now.
Yeah, but Salah's over the hill and far away nowadays. Anyways, we can go on to that goal. Goal or no goal? Ziad, goal or no goal?
I actually don't care. At the end of the day, all these teams get these. You get these
but in
results
your
that
view,
go
I want to know
against
in your view.
like-
I want to know about what do you think?
I have a biased view, so I don't care. I'm glad it got disallowed. But I can see
Thanks for
both
that.
sides of it, man. I can see why you'd feel hard done by. I can see why you'd say, oh, it's Michael Oliver and Man City. So if we lean into that whole narrative, then yeah, definitely a tough one. But we see these things all the time. And I actually saw a post on social media that I thought was quite spot on. And it's like, look, at the end of the day, I don't believe any team is getting favored over the other. In the moment, yes, we may feel that way, but all teams are getting bad calls. And the actual fact of the matter is the officiating across the board is not good.
Yeah.
And that's the bigger issue as opposed to, Michael Oliver, whatever. And remember when we had Kenny on the show, the referee, he said the same thing, Keith Hackett, that it's just the standards are not there as it used to be, and the processes and so on. So I think it's just refereeing in general that's not good. So these type of things are going to continue. But yeah, it's about time Liverpool get hard done by a little. So
okay, so just after some of the question that I asked, you answered right at the end there with that last sentence, Liverpool hard done by. So you think that it was actually a goal? Thank you for that, Ziad. AF, goal or no goal?
Yeah, I think Liverpool are definitely hard done by. I think that goal should have stood. But like I was watching this clip of Ref Watch with Dermot Gallagher, and they're always going to bring some sort of
they're
literature
idiots. They are idiots.
Into it, like as per Rule 115 by law 512 or some nonsense like that. They're going to bring something into it to sort of justify why that goal didn't stand. But
why they liked it.
I just think that they could feel hard done by.
Yeah, I think so. The way I understand it is, if the player is in an offside position and interferes with the goalkeeper or his vision, then it's of course obviously offside.
I
logical.
don't think that interfered with his vision. Like
I agree.
Donnarumma fully stretched. He was diving. He wasn't even in his like eye line or anything like that.
Nothing.
Like I don't.
It didn't change anything that Donnarumma would have done.
Brian, Donnarumma takes up the whole poles, so everything interferes with his vision. Technically, right? Nah, it was
maybe
unlucky for
maybe
them,
not his
but
vision.
it comes
But,
around, you get luck and then
Yeah,
things also go against you. So
yeah, very true.
yeah.
AF, just on the weekend in general, because you weren't here for the first half of it. So, anything you want to say about the weekend in general before we go on to our games that we're about to play before the end of the show?
No, not really. Just that Dan Ballard, man, just coming back, Arsenal schoolboy, getting one goal in. So yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
And then I want to ask you is where do you think United will end up? Are we going top half of the table? Are we challenging for top 6? What's the situation?
At the moment, I don't know how to answer that question because there's like 3 points
It's
that
difficult.
separate like third.
We need to go
from
back to AF's
13.
pre-season prediction. Didn't you have United like 5th or something?
6.
Could
yeah,
be.
I
Okay.
went 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere there.
We love
Yeah.
it. We love it. Okay, that's great.
So
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like anybody can slip up at any time and then fall into the bottom half of the table at the moment.
Yeah. Fully
Why
agree.
must you bring Gerrard into it? Leave him alone, man. He wasn't in. I want to bring him in.
Slip up, Riaz. Slip up. Slip.
Yeah, Riaz was glitching.
I'm not following. I think like I lost for the last 10 seconds of this live stream. I'm not sure where Gerard
it's fine,
came from.
Okay, it's okay. We can carry on.
Oh gosh. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. I'm not sure where that came from. We're gonna go on to the last couple of segments now, and yes, thank you, Jason, because you do that all the time. Now you want to identify when other people do it. That's nice. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Yeah, United might split up during AFCON. Yeah, because they're in Mbuemo. True.
And Ahmad.
And
Our
Ahmad,
entire right-hand side is gone.
Oh, shame. I'm sad. Anyways.
You are sad, actually.
I'm not Jason. Okay. I'm not Jason. I do not support United. And I know that Daniel and Jason.
Stan.
Yeah, that's true. I never denied that. And I will never deny that. But, I don't support Manchester United. In any case, I want to go on to which game should we do first? Let's do blind ranking. Let's go on to some blind ranking. And this is a game where I'm gonna give you 5 players. They're separated. They all played in the Premier League. They're separated in different positions: goalies, midfielders, defenders, and strikers. And you're gonna blind rank a player. So if I give you, for example, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you're gonna pick a number from 1 to 5, and you're gonna say this is where I would rank him in terms of best strikers. Simple, plain, simple, good to go. Bema Basuni knows who the Cameroon keeper is. Too soon. I think that's too soon there, Jason, on that one. I think people are still seeing ghosts. Although I think the keepers are doing very well. The person who replaced him, I think, is doing very well. So, yeah, I'm going to start with you in this blind ranking, and let's start with forwards, right? So I'm going to give you current, and I'll give AF past. So I'll give you current forwards. Okay. I want to start with Harry Kane, 1 to 5. Where would you rank him?
When you say current, right?
Yeah.
Give me a time span here, just so I know what I'm working with. So you're saying active players who are currently active.
Active players, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so this isn't only Premier League. This is.
I had to put Harry Kane in there because I thought it would be interesting. But it's mostly he's the only one that is in Premier League. Well, one other person in the whole of the quiz. But
I think Riaz got 1 foot in the past.
I do have, yeah.
Still seeing him as a Spurs player. I'll slot him in at 2.
Okay, I like that. Second, so you have 1, 3, 4, and 5 open. The next play is Victor Gyökeres.
5.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna throw up at me, but obviously Kane's goal record speaks for itself. Gyökeres has come into the league and he's done really well in everything except that proliferation of goals that you kind of want from a striker. So I think to rank him higher, he needs more goals. But yeah, I'm not saying he's bad.
I like that.
Don't make things up here. But
no, I'm not. I'm just asking questions.
He doesn't have the goals to be ranked higher.
I like that. I like that train of thought. Let's go with Danny Welbeck. Is your third option?
Yeah, Daniel Welbeck can take the fourth spot. He's been scoring. He's been in great form, experienced player, and he's putting his hand up for England recall. He's played for Arsenal, played for United. Just a good pro at the end of the day. So happy with him at 4.
Okay, this is the only other one that is a bit dubious on the Premier League situation, and that's the fourth person I'm going to give you is Andy Carroll.
Yes, he's an actor, bro. Isn't this
He's
bro
active.
playing like
He's active.
Sunday
He's
League or
active
something?
in like the
He's
fifth league of like
active.
France or something.
Man is active.
Yo.
Man is active. So
He
you have
has
what? You have
literally
1 and
meant
3
to
available.
go blind here with
Yes,
this stuff.
that's the
Look,
point.
he's got a. Oh no, that's Crouch. Yes, I can only put him at 3 and hope that you give me a good guy for 1.
Yeah.
But you
This
tricked
is
me. This is definitely a trick.
This is a good way to start. This is why I did this at the start, because now you can know what to expect, because your last person is Richarlison.
Yeah, so he goes number 1 above
So you're
above Harry Kane because of the pigeon. But bruh, look at all the other strikers you didn't give me. You give me this 5.
Agreed.
Oh,
I agree.
shocking, bruh. Shocking.
I agree.
Shocking.
I
But he did
couldn't give
score
you the
a very
usual
good
one.
goal on the weekend. And funny enough, with Richarlison, right? Like, all jokes aside, when he goes on a run, he goes on a really good run of form where he strings together 5-6 games where he scores really good goals. It's just that he can't stay fit, and he's obviously not consistent enough to do it. But yeah, he's been really good in the Premier League. Probably stagnated a little in recent times, but yeah.
And in terms of that goal that you said that he scored on the weekend, the good goal, he put his head where it wasn't supposed to. The goal was going in. He should have just let it go. Okay, it was a good goal from Odebi.
Look, the number 1 ranked strikers, they take goals away. I mean, ask AF about Ruud van Nistelrooy, who took so many other people's goals away to add to his tally.
That is true.
That's what they do.
That's what they vote you for, man.
Exactly.
I'm going to go on to AF now in terms of. Okay.
AF, I hope you learned from me. This guy is dangerous.
So this is the past.
He's going to trick you, but at least you got legends.
Yeah. Well, past players. Not. I'm saying past players.
I just gamble over here, bruh.
Yes, you could.
My
it's
only
very
advice
possible.
to you is to keep number 1 open for Drogba, just in case he throws that name out. Just make sure number 1 is open.
First one, AF, is going to be Andre.
Wait. So what is our time span here? Is it like 2000 to 2010?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Maybe 20 to 2015.
So is Thierry Henry the first one?
Yeah, the first one that I'm giving you.
Number 1.
Okay, I like that. Thierry Henry is starting him number 1. Second one I'm giving you is Wayne Rooney.
Number 2.
Okay, easy stuff. Third one I'm giving you is Odion Ighalo.
Number 5.
Okay, simple so far. The next one I'm going to give you is Nicholas Bentner.
Number 4.
Okay, easy. And then the last one, so you're left with 3. You're left with 3. This was easy for you, AF. See, I was nice to you. I was super nice to you.
Now you're going to give me like a random brother that played like 3 games in like the early 2000s or something.
No, I think it's going to be the easiest. That's a perfect list for you. You did it perfectly, AF. I'm going to give you Fernando Torres. Simple.
Okay. Yeah. That's not
perfect list. That was a perfect list. Well done, AF. Well done.
AF. I think we have to fight back against the establishment here.
What do you mean? You had a perfect list.
We're going to flip the tables here on you. You're going to have the same exercise, and AF and I are going to alternate random forward names.
Okay.
And you just have to decide what to do with it. Okay.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to get us, I'm going to kick us off with Rocky Santa Cruz.
I really like Rocky Santa Cruz. I really liked him. I like that Rocky Santa Cruz. What was the other guy's name? The Fulham guy, Brian Ruiz. Like all those South American players, I like them a lot. I'll go 4. I'll go 4 with Rocky Santa Cruz.
Okay, AF, you're up.
Paulo One Chop.
Yeah. I have no idea who that is. I have zero clue who that is. I'll go 5. I have no idea
Zero
what it is.
ball knowledge.
No.
Zero ball
no
knowledge.
Take a call back there, AF. Give him someone he knows.
Jermaine
again.
Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe, what did I go? I went for Jermaine Defoe. I'll go 2 with Jermaine Defoe, Jermaine Defoe was a
Yeah.
great goal scorer for many teams. I'll go 2 with Jermaine Defoe.
So Jermaine Defoe at 2 and you have Rocky Santa Cruz at 5.
At 4.
You put him
okay.
at 4. My bad. We'll leave Paulo one chop out, but you need to go do your research. See, AF, he said he likes the South American. One chop was, I think, Central American because it's
Yeah.
Costa Rica, right?
He was Costa Rica. Yeah.
Also with
Yeah.
Brian Ruiz.
Struggled a bit there. I have to throw this one in. The ultimate one-season wonder of the Premier League, Pichu.
5. Great. I was thinking, I almost had him on there, I was going to put him on my list, and then I was like, let's just.
Okay.
Let's
So
just
1
keep
and
Fernando
3 is
Torres in.
free. AF
1 and 3
testing.
is free. 1 and 3 is free.
Dimitar Berbatov.
1. Dimitar Berbatov, number 1.
Wow.
putting that as
that
number
was
1.
too easy. That was too easy.
I think just because of the Premier League that he won a Premier League, correct?
Yeah.
And just because of the style of play, I think Jermaine Defoe did score a lot more goals, but I think just because of the way he was nonchalant, and I love him as a pundit as well. So Berbatov at 1. So I have what open? 3.
3.
I have 3 open.
Yeah, so speaking of pundits, I'll give you one just to end off your number 3 and make it as embarrassing for you as mine was. Troy Deeney.
That's not too embarrassing, is it? That's not too. Who do I have it for? Rocky Santa Cruz 5. Who was my 5? Michu. That's a perfect list. What do you mean, guys? It's a perfect list. I have Dimitar Berbatov, Jermaine Defoe, Troy Deeney, Rocky Santa Cruz, and Michu. It's perfect. That is a perfect list, guys. Come on now.
As long as you're happy.
We're moving on to
like those 5 actually go nicely together. Unlike
Yeah.
Henry, Rooney, and Bentner Igalo. You see the difference?
That is true. That is true. But I try to make like a nice disparity so that like with yours also has a disparity in it. It's just easier
massive.
for you to make the disparity at the end of the day, which I should have thought a bit more about. But because we're running out of time, we're going to go straight into our other. I had a lot of blind rankings for you guys, by the way, but we'll stop it there. And we're going to go to the other one. Now, the other one is just quickly. It's a quick game of red card, yellow card, and play on. So I'm just going to tell you some things. You're going to tell me whether it's a play on, whether it's cool with you, whether it's yellow card but iffy, or whether you don't want it in the game. Okay, Ziad, I'll start with you. Not celebrating against your former club.
Play on. I think that's actually, I'll change my mind. I'm going to go yellow card, 50-50, because if you left the club on good terms, then by all means, don't celebrate. But if the club discarded you, or if, for example, Garnacho scores against United at Old Trafford, I want him to celebrate like Adebayo did against Arsenal. So it's a 50-50 yellow card for me.
Okay, AFU?
I think I'm in the same boat. Yeah, like there has to be reason for you celebrating. If you leave on good terms and you still celebrate, like no, like just I'll kick you in the face myself.
Okay, lovely stuff. The next one is small shin pads that doesn't even cover a $1 or one coin. Those small shin pads. AF red card. Are you going red card?
Red card. What are those covering? Like 5 centimeters.
Even less sometimes. I mean, Joe Linton. I thought about this because Joe Linton had a scratch. So I think he had a studs down his shin, and then he took shin pads off to show the ref, and his shin pad was like this big. And I'm like, if you had a normal shin pad on, your shin would have been protected. I mean, what the hell? Anyway, sorry. I digress. Ziad, you?
Yeah, look, I can't go against it because if I was tackling you, you needed shin guards. Like Bean says, he made shin guards from cardboard boxes. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's doesn't serve any purpose. So a big red card from me. I understand why players do it because that freedom of movement and stuff, but they don't complain when you get hurt.
Yeah. Agreed. There's two. Just have two more left for you guys. I'll start with you on this one, Ziad. VAR.
Yeah. Is there any color darker than red that I can choose for a more severe punishment? A 1 year ban.
Okay, there you go. Banning
Straight
straight
red.
on.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, right, with VAR, it's simple for me. Having tech is supposed to help, and
Yeah.
it does help from time to time, but the way it's employed is causing more problems. So I'd rather than have no tech and have the human error, because we can always be upset about the human error, right?
Yeah.
But when we have a million replays and still make the wrong decision, it feels worse. So yeah, a red for me.
Lovely stuff. You as well, AF, I'm assuming?
I think I'm going to go yellow.
Okay.
Because, like, at the end of it all, the reason for using it is good. The implementation just needs to be. They need to brush up on that. I mean, it really can't be that difficult to use a piece of tech to just abide by what you need to do. So, yellow card, like, keep it, but just use it a bit more efficiently. Yeah.
Agreed. Ramiz, I did have cutting socks in, but I think that was just a bit too arbitrary, because that's a ridiculous thing. I don't know why people cut their socks. The last one I want to give you is a bit more light-hearted. If goalkeepers wearing long pants.
Now play on. I mean, a majority of the time they're wearing it like in the winter, and the temperatures over there are crazy. So the goalkeepers aren't really running a lot. The rest of the players, they are running all over the pitch. The goalkeepers are confined to their box. So, like, if they need to keep warm somehow, then wear those long pants.
Nice one. Use it.
Solid red from me. Just aesthetically not pleasing.
that is a fair statement. I was thinking about it and I was like, it's quite odd. I've seen that before, but it's very odd to like look at.
It's almost like we are training, man. It gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like we are training. See, I mean, and this is another reason why, Muppet goalies.
I did actually agree initially. That's why I put it there. But then AF made a great point about the cold and the not moving. So I think it might be a bit better for them. I might go yellow on that one. But I did say at the beginning, like I said, I have
one for you though. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I have one for you. Goalkeepers wearing caps.
I was thinking about that now as well. I think it's necessary, to be honest with you. I'll say play on. I don't like the aesthetic at all. I think it's weird. It just looks super odd. But I understand the practicality of it, and I'm going to have to say play on. Because, I mean, goalkeeper, more than arms and legs, you need your eyes. I mean, if you can't see, what are you going to be able to do? And the ball comes from all angles. It comes from high, it comes from low, it comes from everywhere. The sun could be anywhere. So I'm going to go play on with that one because, it's very, like Ziad said about the long pants, it looks weird. Like, looks like you're playing cricket. Yeah. It looks like you're playing cricket, 4 round or baseball or something. But
it's not even like a new thing. Like people like David James, Chris Kirkland, they did it back when, like, late 90s, early 2000s. So they were sort of setting a trend back then already.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last person I saw wearing it was Dean Henderson for Crystal Palace. I'm not sure when it was, but recently. But yeah, I'm gonna go play on for that one. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, I was hoping that this was going to be a shorter episode. Obviously, I made the disclaimer that I am not good with keeping things short. So ultimately, we ran long. Apologies for that. Apologies for that. But guys, thank you all, guys. Thank you for tuning in, everybody in the chat. You guys have been awesome today, especially without the preview and with this international break coming. You guys have been awesome. You guys were buzzing in the chat. If you can like the stream, please do just a small thumbs up button on the stream. That would be awesome. Guys, where can they find you on social media?
Who's that directed towards?
AF, I'll start with you.
Well, like if they don't know by now, then it's a bit of a worry. But yeah,
you never know who's first.
Parker 642 everywhere. Yeah, that's all that I have to say.
Lovely stuff. AF for Ziad, your blue sky and thread situation there.
Yeah, it's all there. You can read it out there. Come chat. A lot of things happening in the sporting world, so lots to talk about. NFL areas. A quick touch on, since it is also kind of football. We are joint top at the moment in our fantasy league. There's 4 people in first place. So we're rolling.
It's the stress every week, to be honest with you. I got lucky this week that the Packers and the Eagles game was a snooze fest. So because my opponent only had Eagles players in his team, so that was good. I got lucky there. But yeah, you can please follow us on Sportycast. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Please be one of them. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You can get us on all sorts of social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, obviously, on whenever you find social medias. I run out of my knowledge of social media, so I'm not sure what else there is. Be sure to look out for on the TikTok page. We'll be uploading TikToks also at some point soon, hopefully, if I can get my head around it. But yeah, thank you all for your support so far. It's really been awesome. Apologies for the length once again, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock next week, Wednesday. Until then, take it easy. Have a lovely week.